Hello, Merry Christmas, and welcome to my blog. Today, I'm going to review Resident Evil 4. It's probably picking up second-hand these days, about 25 quid probably, maybe a little bit cheaper again. I've had it for maybe 2 months, not long after it came out on the Wii. Obviously the game was before on PS2 and GameCube. Whilst it does say Resident Evil 4, there have been countless Resident Evil games, countless remakes of 1, Resident Evil 0, various other games, Code Veronica for example. But anyway, this is the first one on the Wii, obviously, and it's also the first one to take us away from the pre-rendered camera angle and sort of mansion-y, sort of wandery around type thing. Also, it's the first one not to include zombies. It instead includes villagers who look like zombies and act like zombies, but aren't. Anyway, some sort of alien cult, who knows. Anyway, I won't go talk too much about the actual game itself because, well, it's been out for donkey's years and there are countless reviews on the internet about it. However, I will tell you a little bit about the game and also a little bit about the control method with the Wii. Firstly, about the game, just a generic game, Resident Evil game. It's Leon, he's an American, he wanders into, well not wanders, he gets put into this Eastern European village where he has to capture the, recapture the president's daughter from a cult of crazy-ass religious freaks. The storyline's relatively impelling, not the greatest thing in the world, but hell, it's a Resident Evil game, what more do you want? Zombies, guns, limited ammo, yeah, that's pretty much it. The game lacks some of the edge of the older games in the sense that, because you aren't sort of having awkward camera angles coming around corners, and there aren't as many moments, but other than that, it loses a bit. But it more than makes up for it in the sense that you're actually there and shooting zombies and there's loads coming towards you and it's not hard to play. The old games were hard to play because the camera angles were awful and the game only ever gave you what it wanted to give you. With this, you can you've got a lot more freedom and the shotgun's a lot more fun than it used to be. Anyway, a bit about the Wii's control method. It's obviously, as you'd imagine with the Wii, what they're going to do with it, with a sort of point and shoot. You hold the trigger on the back to get his gun out and then A to shoot, like that. It's a sort of actually halfway house when you go into the aiming mode, the B mode. He stands still like he's always done, well, like the character's always done in all the Resident Evil games. But it's an amalgamation between this, the Wiimote sensor, the IR sensor, in a call it a light gun type fashion, but also the nunchuck with the movement from side to side and sort of, obviously if you need to turn around very quickly and shoot the guy behind you, you do it with a nunchuck and point with the remote. It's a little bit awkward to get used to begin with, but once I got used to it I thought the system is pretty much the best use of the Wiimote I've seen, and as you might have seen in the previous review of controllers for the next generation, I think the Wiimote has a lot of problems. You only have to hear my Mario Kart rant to know that, but I think in this game it's pretty much the best control system I have ever used, and it lends itself to some properly epic moments, like for example I've just completed a bit in the game where you're barricaded in a house. Players who've played the PlayStation 2 version or the GameCube version will remember this bit vividly because it's very hard and very cool. Basically you're barricaded in a house with the president's daughter and a Spanish man protecting yourself from Eastern European zombies. And you barricade the windows and the doors and you're there with the gun. But obviously in the original game you're there with the controller. It was, you know, it was awesome, but not as immersive as this, where you're actually shooting there. And to quote a phrase from my good friend Ash, it actually feels like you're actually shooting zombies in an Eastern European village. Sort of. I think it's probably the closest thing you're ever going to get to the feeling of actually shooting zombies until VR comes out, or we get taken over by zombies, one of the two. And it's a real heart-beating shoot, 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 I've had enough of these motherfucking zombies in my motherfucking village type moment. Small complaints about the game, the menu system isn't great. It's frustratingly hard in points, especially when you haven't got any ammo, a staple of the Resident Evil series. But that was what makes it good. And I think for the Wii, it's a next to perfect game. My only real complaint about it is that it's a game that's what, 4 years old maybe slightly less than that, 2 or 3 years old. Which is also a problem with Twilight Princess, is that on the Wii it's not an old game, but it's a game that was originally developed for the GameCube. Having said that, the graphics are stunning. They're just the GameCube graphics, but the GameCube graphics were stunning, and with the darkness and all that, it doesn't need good draw distance or anything else. It doesn't really damage the console at all. It's very, it's a very good graphical game, and also worth playing on a big TV and worth playing with a very big sound system and in a darkened room, and you know, because you will be sort of crawling through the villages, going shaking, going, "Ah, you motherfuckers!" But yes, if you have a Wii, buy it. If you have a Wii and like zombies at all, then buy it. I'm actually, you see me moving about, that makes him slash with his knife, and I'm actually slashing up the President's daughter as we speak, by accident. So awesome. But yeah, it's a superb game. I'm going to intercut this this vlog with trailer scenes, because it'll give me something to do. But it's a really immersive experience when you can sort of shoot at those zombies and sort of feel like you're in the middle of a war zone, and then sort of just press pause, have a cup of tea, and it's an experience that I think probably the best game experience for this sort of game that I've ever had, better than other shoot-em-up games I've played. Resident Evil 4, I think, is probably the standout title on the GameCube by a long way, and probably saved the GameCube in a lot of people's minds. I know it did in mine. But on the Wii, it excels, purely because of the control system is just stunning for the Wii. And that's pretty much it. That's enough of me jizzing over Resident Evil 4. I got for my birthday a PSP and also a iPod Classic. I might review both at some point. I might do like a plethora of reviews now, but no, who knows. Anyway, that's Resident Evil 4. I would give it, if I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. The reason I'm not giving it 10 is because it's an old game and it's essentially just a remake. But 9 out of 10. For the control system alone, I would give it 10, but for everything else it's a 9. Anyway, so thank you very much.